Sending, receiving, and possession of fraudulent documents are offences punishable under the EFCC Act 2004. Do not partake in these acts. Good evening, and thank you for staying tuned to the program, The Eagle. My name is Aisha Gambari. Aisha Mohammed is also on the program with me.
Hi, Aisha.
Hello.
Hello, viewers. Welcome to another exciting edition of the program, your window to the activities of the EFCC.
EFCC will get you anywhere, anytime.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has called on the public to be wary of activities of unscrupulous estate developers in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, who are in the habit of defrauding aspiring home holders through bogus offers. Also today, Chairman of the EFCC, Ibrahim Lamurde, has called on women across the nation to embrace the fight against corruption in the country. The call was made at the one-day sensitization workshop organized in Abuja, Nigeria, for women, civil society and community-based groups by the EFCC in collaboration with African Center for Women Information and Literacy.
Also on the program today is a report on the prosecution of one Clifford Nduka Nwachukwu before Justice Kudirat Jose of the Lagos High Court Ikeja on one count charge of stealing. Aisha Gambari will bring you the Eagle team's interview with one of the Commission's foremost prosecutors, Godwin Obla SAN. We will be back with all this and more right after the break.
Cheers! Cheers! What is it? Please, keep to yourself.
Chivurabo, I got a telephone call.
Anytime I close my eyes, yes, I see dead people chasing me in my sleep.
My Juva Magadam.
Is it possible for someone to become restless just because of his past?
Nevertheless, unless you kill somebody dead, then the spirit will be haunted you. Hey! Was you all contractors?
I embezzled all the money for the roads that are now death traps, killing people every day. I approved the supplies of fake drugs on pipe-on water. I embezzled the money. I dey fear, Chief.
You are supposed to fear, especially now that the people of EFCC are chasing people who are doing to submit other people's money. EFCC, as soon as they capture them, straight to prison.
Chief,
jail. How you are? Life are not just about acquire wealth, making money. When other people are getting die of hunger and neglect, be careful. EFCC I watch.
EFCC will get you anywhere, anytime.
Chairman, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ibrahim Lamurde, has called on women across the nation to embrace the fight against corruption in Nigeria. Lamurde made the call at a one-day sensitization workshop organized for women, civil society and community-based groups by EFCC in collaboration with African Center for Media and Information Literacy at Newton Park Hotel at Resorts, Abuja. Lamurde, who was represented by Dr. David Tukura, Director, Planning, Policy and Statistics, said that the workshop was organized to encourage women to take ownership of the war against corruption. According to him, the Commission is convinced that the power to change the destiny of our nation as one blighted by deep-rooted corruption lies in the hands of women.
And research has been done on this, you will not believe this. The results are mixed. Let me just mention some names, then you take your decision. Golda Meir of Israel, powerful woman that helped to lay the foundations of the modern Israeli state. Maggie Thatcher, Thatcherism, marketization, liberalization, private sector revolution that began in the 80s and is still blowing through the world. Then the other spectrum, you have Eva Peron, you have Imelda Marcos. And so you begin to wonder, what answer will you give?
Also speaking, Dr. Dayo Oluyemi Kusa, an independent consultant and former director, Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution, stressed the need for women to be mainstreamed into the anti-economic and financial crime sectors to make them more effective. She said, women have a big role to play in teaching the young ones that good name is better than riches. She also called for collaboration between the EFCC and National Orientation Agency in disseminating information on corruption and reorienting the society. In his presentation, Dr. Otiv Ibuzo, Executive Director, African Center for Leadership and Development, who spoke on advocacy as a tool for preventing economic and financial crimes, called for paradigm shift in the manner corruption is tackled. While underlining the importance of advocacy as a preventive tool for anti-corruption war, he encouraged women to be committed in fighting corruption. Head Enlightenment and Reorientation Unit EFCC, Aisha Lare Musa, in her presentation, said the EFCC Act empowers it to investigate, prosecute and prevent economic and financial crimes. She encouraged women who have dormant bank accounts to endeavor to close them to prevent them from being used for illicit transactions. Still on collaborative efforts, Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC, Ibrahim Lamurdi, has also commended the partnership between the EFCC and the Nigerian Communication Commission NCC in the fight against corruption in Nigeria. Lamurdi made the commendation during a sensitization program organized for management and staff of the NCC in Abuja. Lamurdi, who was represented by Osita Nwaja, Deputy Director, Public Affairs, said the program is designed to foster collaboration with NCC as a key player in the fight against corruption, particularly in the information and communication sector in Nigeria. The EFCC boss said that the partnership will go a long way to show that NCC has zero tolerance for corruption. According to him, the EFCC, in keeping with its mandate, has embarked on measures to prevent the commission of economic and financial crimes through aggressive public enlightenment and education, as it is easier and cheaper to prevent crime than fight it. While appreciating the NCC for its assistance and contributions as a board member of the EFCC and also in its capacity as a regulatory agency for telecommunications, where it has provided the necessary framework that has assisted EFCC in its work, especially in the investigation of telecommunication-related offences, the EFCC boss called on the Executive Vice Chairman of NCC, Eugene Juwa, to accept proposal for the establishment of an NCC Integrity Section to work in conjunction with Anti-Corruption Transparency Unit in the Commission and also consider extending the sensitization campaign to other staff in its zonal offices. Zainab Sani Ahmed reporting for the Eagle.
Welcome back. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC is currently prosecuting one Clifford Nduka Nwachukwu and his company Jethro Nigeria Limited before Justice Kudirat Jose of a Lagos State High Court in Ikeja on a one-count charge bordering on stealing the sum of 27 million naira paid to his company Jethro Nigeria Limited. Thelma Eke completes the report.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, is prosecuting one Clifford Nduka Nwachukwu and Jethro Nigeria Limited before Justice Kudirat Jose of the Lagos High Court, Ikeja, on one-count charge bordering on stealing. Nwachukwu's problem began sometime in January 2013 when Jethro Limited, a company owned by him, was awarded a contract to refurbish, rehabilitate and reinstall 6 steel skirt navigational marking buoys at Calabar Port for a total sum of 27 million naira by Abhal Ventures Limited through Alhaji Abu Mohammed. 15 million naira was reportedly given to Jethro Nigeria Limited as advance payment, An additional sum of 9 million naira only was paid in September 2013, while the balance 3 million naira was to be paid upon completion of the job. Since the 9 million naira was paid to Jetro Nigeria Limited, Nwachukwu allegedly refused to mobilize to site to complete the project and diverted the money to personal use. When the charge was read to him, he pleaded not guilty. Upon his plea, counsel to the EFCC, Ben Ubi, asked for a trial date and prayed the court to remand the accused person in prison custody. But the defense counsel, John Ebo, while praying the court to allow him file an oral application for bail, urged the court to remand the accused person in EFCC custody. Justice Kudirat Jose adjourned the matter to October 14th and 15th, 2014, and ordered that the accused person be remanded in Kirikiri Maximum Prison. In another development, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, wishes to alert the general public to the activities of unscrupulous estate developers in the Federal Capital Territory who are in the habit of defrauding aspiring homeowners through bogus offers. In recent weeks, the Commission has recorded an upsurge in the number of reported cases of individuals, mostly low and middle income earners, who have been swindled after they responded to advertisement for subscription to own properties in many of the estates being promoted by unscrupulous developers in the FCT. Usually the so-called developers, once they are able to secure land allocation from the FCDA, create gorgeous computer-assisted designs of prototype estates and launch aggressive media blitz for prospective homeowners to subscribe for different categories of houses at attractive prices. They target low and middle income earners who cannot afford outright cash purchase of property in the capital city. For this category of citizens, such offers are irresistible as they present immediate escape from the burden of prohibitive yearly rent payments. They embrace such scheme with the hope that the payments spread over many years will provide the cushion to do other things. But no sooner than they pay the initial deposits, they are inundated with various excuses as explanation for the developers' inability to deliver the properties. Some have waited for many years, hoping against hope, for their promised houses to be delivered. While the hapless prospective homeowners rail their flight, the so-called developers disappear completely from the radar to enjoy their loot. Those who do not disappear continue to make promises that are never redeemed. The more ruthless amongst them are prepared to wear out the scam subscribers through tedious litigations in court, fully aware that many of the low-income persons lacked the resources to sustain legal actions over a long time. Even the subscribers who brave the courts and secure legal respite discover that recovering their money is near impossible. Often the title to such properties would have long been mortgaged as collateral for loan facilities from some financial institutions by the developers. It is important that stakeholders in the real estate sector, as well as the regulatory agencies such as the Nigerian Society of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, come together to review and firm up the regulatory framework for property development in the FCT to check the activities of unscrupulous private developers. It is also imperative for intending homeowners to ascertain the credibility and capacity of developers before subscribing to their offers. The FCDA, which has done a lot to check the incidences of land scams in the FCT, equally have a role to play by ensuring that developers requesting land for mass housing have the capacity to deliver the houses. The EFCC will, on its part, continue the aggressive investigation and prosecution of all land-related cases in the FCT. Thelma AK, reporting for The Eagle.
You're still watching the program The Eagle. Godwin Obla SAN is a consummate legal practitioner, having acquired extensive experience spanning a period of 3 decades. In this exclusive interview with Aisha Gambari, he bare his mind on his experiences as an EFCC prosecutor and the frustrations of delayed trials.
Godwin Obla, a senior advocate of Nigeria SAN, is a prominent member of the Nigerian Bar Association, where he currently serves as a member of the Committee on Anti-Corruption, as well as the chairman of the Section on Legal Practice, Subcommittee on Cross-Border Crimes and Financial Malpractices and other related matters. He is also a special prosecutor for the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC and the federal government of Nigeria in white-collar crimes and related offenses. Speaking with the Eagle team recently, Obla said he has never been scared of being an EFCC prosecutor.
It's never crossed my mind for a simple reason. And the reason why I have not bothered to actually think along that line is, you make up your mind. If you are doing what is right and proper without compromising yourself, then you don't have any cause to fear. But my people have a proverb. They say, if you eat from a leprous man, if he gives you something to eat, and he asks you to tend to his wounds, then you should be able to tend to those wounds because you have eaten from him. So if you don't compromise yourself with the corrupt elements, then you have no cause to fear. If you are dealt with, other prosecutors will comfort. They may be worse than you.
In Nigeria, when you fight corruption, corruption fights back. Does the frustration of delayed trials affect your morale?
It did. There's a particular matter I did. I think for about 7 days, I completely lost my appetite because I felt we were good to go, either for good or for bad. I wanted a decision. It turned out that I wasn't going to get a decision on that matter for another 3 years. And my expected period of getting a decision was just about 4 weeks. So it's demoralizing. It keeps your docket full. Matters that you needed to have dealt with within a short period has now been elevated to a period of another 3 to 4 years.
Bringing high-profile cases to a conclusive stage in Nigeria seems to take a very long time. Why do you think it is difficult to prosecute high-profile cases in Nigeria compared to other countries like Egypt, where the former president Hosni Mubarak and his sons were found guilty of embezzling more than $17 million in a trial that ended in less than 3 years?
Let me say that this is a topic that we have discussed over and over and over. And the truth of the matter is, we need to look at first the architecture of our cases. You know, we've always had this philosophy that has been misapplied and abused severally to say that it is better for 99 guilty persons to go free than for one innocent person to be convicted. And because of that, the burden of proof placed on the prosecution has become, in some cases, very unreasonable in my opinion, because they say the burden to be discharged is one beyond reasonable doubt. But I think that the interpretation that some people give to it is beyond every shadow of doubt. That is my personal perception of it. And two, the procedural rules we had until now is such that counsel for an accused person can filibuster every prosecution that is on, filing all sorts of applications, raising all sorts of objections, going up to the Supreme Court on interlocutory issues, generally delaying it. It's just like this other case that you just mentioned now. It will take about 7 years to deal with just preliminary matters. By the time you are down from the Supreme Court back to the High Court, there's what I call prosecution fatigue. The prosecutor is tired. The system is tired. So much money has been spent on it already. So, and the first thing you see is high-profile cases. They get the best lawyers to defend them. I'm sure that when you appear in some of the prosecutions I do, you see that there's a prosecuting counsel for the state more often than not a senior advocate. Simultaneously, the defense is represented by maybe about 7 senior advocates and maybe about 30 other support lawyers. So you can see the extent to which people want to stay out of jail. You don't spend that kind of money and just surrender easily. You need to fight. And that's what they do. And it is within their constitutional right to do what they're doing.
Do you think it is possible to have a time frame for criminal cases in Nigeria, going by a recent directive by the Chief Justice of the Federation that all criminal cases must end within 6 months?
I think the current Chief Justice of Nigeria has actually shown a lot of proactive initiative in this area. You recall that very recently, practice directions were issued by High Courts of States, the Federal High Court, Court of Appeal, and Supreme Court, in respect of a specific category of cases: kidnapping, corruption, and related cases, and cases specifically involving the ICPC and EFCC to be fast-tracked. So those practice directions have actually cut out areas that lawyers take advantage of in actually delaying cases. If you look at the practice direction, for instance, it says prosecution is entitled to 2 adjournments, defense 2 adjournments maximum. After that, you cannot get any more adjournment, and it abridges time for doing a lot of things. Most of the things that used to have 30 or 60 days to do for, you have 7 days to do them now. And also brings certain innovations from the civil procedure areas of front-loading exhibits and documents and introduces them into the criminal arena. And I think this has the capacity of actually reducing the time spent on trials.
Corruption affects every sector of the society. Have you ever been personally affected?
Yes, you see, when you prosecute corruption-related cases, the first thing that stands out is you know that in terms of remuneration, it is better for you to defend corrupt persons. As an advocate, it's actually better for you to defend. If money making is your principal objective, then it is better for you to defend than to prosecute. Prosecution comes with a lot of responsibilities, but with very little pay. But it also gives you an opportunity to serve your society in the way that you feel is best, for you to also be part of the process of cleaning up a society that is actually not living up to the expectation of its own citizens. And when you are in that situation, the system also tries to fight back to you, tries to see whether they can also compromise you so that you can become part of an existing system. So it's a lot of challenge. It's a lot of challenge. But thankfully, I think a lot of the people that are working in the system are actually living above board.
What do you think the EFCC has going forward?
I think it has a history of integrity above every other thing. It has a long history of having worked hard at eradicating this scourge in spite of the limited resources available to it, because I should be in a position to know, having dealt with anti-corruption agencies on a transnational basis, dealing with anti-corruption agencies of other countries. It has a huge country it contends with the limited staff it deals with. It has the psyche of a people that do not really see anything wrong with corrupt tendencies if those people are from their particular geographical areas. And it has a society that is too laid back, too complacent, and doesn't really bother too much about it. So it's actually engaged in an unpopular war. It's doing the best it can in the circumstances. And I think because of that, there's a culture of fear even in the society when the name is mentioned. And I think that is what we need more than any other thing.
Welcome back. Aisha, that was a beautiful interview. I enjoyed it. And I can feel the frustration of our prosecuting counsels. Yeah. Honestly, the delay in trial is a great setback for the fight against graft in this country.
Oh yes, Aisha, the delay in trial is actually the greatest setback that most trials in this country have suffered. Yeah. But I hope that there was a pronouncement a couple of months back that 6 months duration for criminal trials should be adhered to. So I just hope that
CJ, right?
From the CJ. Yeah. So I just hope that they will adhere strictly to that directive. Well, next is the feedback segment with Chidinma Amanambo. Please stay tuned.
Francis Ofojebe wrote via our Facebook platform, and he says, "There is no nation without criminals, but we should be thankful to EFCC. Additionally, EFCC should find a way to educate our young people in schools on the evils of criminality. This will brighten the future of this country." Thanks, Francis, for your faith in the EFCC. Concerning your advice, the EFCC has an Enlightenment and Reorientation Unit, which is in the Public Affairs Department of the Commission. And that unit has been handling issues of educating young people against acts of criminality. It has inaugurated integrity clubs in primary and secondary schools across the Federation. Also, it works with the EFCC NYSC Anti-Corruption Community Development Group to take the fight against corruption to the young ones in the society. Our second message is from Eleyi Taylor Harry, who also wrote via Facebook, commending the EFCC for a job well done. He urges the Commission to give regular updates on matters in courts. Thanks, Taylor Harry, for the commendation. Your advice is noted, and we would like to inform you that updates on activities of the Commission, including court cases, are provided on our website efccnigeria.org and our social media platforms. Please visit these platforms for the updates. That's all we have for you this week on the feedback segment. Thanks for your contributions. To be part of this segment, please visit us on facebook.com/official EFCC or follow us on Twitter @official EFCC. You can also watch our programs and other activities on youtube.com/official EFCC or send a text to the following numbers: 0809 3322 644 and 0818 3322 644. You can also report any misconduct by staff of the Commission via dia@efccnigeria.org or call this number 0990447758 between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. weekdays only.
EFCC will get you anywhere, anytime.
Thank you for being part of the program this week. We hope you will continue to send your feedback to us. It is on that note that we wrap it up on the program. My name is Aisha Gambari. God bless Nigeria. From Aisha.
Yes, Aisha. The Public Interface Unit of the Public Affairs Department of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) is driving a national discourse online every week. We are focusing on issues of good governance as it affects the anti-corruption crusade in Nigeria. Please join us on Google Plus by searching for Official EFCC or Official EFCC ng@gmail.com. When signed in your Google Plus account, like us or follow us. You can also join us on facebook.com/official EFCC or follow us on Twitter @official EFCC. You can also watch our programs and other activities on youtube.com/official EFCC. Thanks for watching. God bless you.